Okay, so where do we find these online jobs? Where do we find high-paying freelancing clients? I know this is a very common question, especially for those people who have never worked online. And I know you probably had people telling you that you can make a lot of money using freelance accounts. And while that is true, I know how hard it can be to access these accounts, especially if you're from certain parts of the world. So besides these accounts, do we have other options that you can use to get freelance work? And the answer is yes. And in this video, I'm going to take you through these options. So I'm hoping that by the time this video ends, you're going to know exactly where you need to turn to find these high-paying freelancing clients. But before we go there, I'm hoping that you already have a skill that you're planning to sell. Because when it comes to online jobs, it's all about selling your services. Like, businesses are usually willing to pay top dollar to people who offer solutions. So you already need to have a solution that you're selling to these businesses. And the solutions could be copywriting, could be social media management, data analysis, virtual assistants. Like, we have so many solutions that you can offer online, okay? Basically soft skills that you can offer to help businesses address their common needs. And on top of that, I'm assuming that you have your portfolio. A portfolio is just a representation of who you are as a freelancer or as a service provider. So assuming you work as a copywriter, you need to have a copywriter's portfolio. If you work as a virtual assistant, you need to have a virtual assistant's portfolio. So in a nutshell, your portfolio is a brief summary, like I've said, of who you are as a freelancer, and it always includes things like your about me, so brief explanation of who you are as a freelancer. It needs to have the services that you're offering. It needs to have your samples, and I think this is the most important part, samples of what you've already done. And if you're lucky enough that you have already worked with some clients in the past, then you need to have some reviews or references if you can get, but this is not very important, though it doesn't hurt to have it in your portfolio. Have I mentioned contact details? If I haven't, you also need to add your contact information, and this mostly includes your email address. So once you know what you're doing, you have your skill here and you have your portfolio here, then you're good to go. Like, you can literally now just dive right in. And by the way, a portfolio is very important because most of the businesses, most of the clients that you're going to reach out to will ask you for your portfolio. So it's the first thing that they're going to ask. It's not something that you can overlook. It's not something that you can ignore. Literally, what I'm just trying to say is you must have your portfolio ready before you proceed with trying to find work. With that being said, let's explore different places where you can find high-paying freelancing clients. The first platform is Fiverr, and it's a good starting point for people who want to make money online. And the reason I'm saying that is Fiverr is usually packed with fast transactional jobs and gigs, as they call it. You see, when clients are looking for somebody to help them with something quick, like a web copy or a written form of content or a thumbnail design, like anything they want, they're going to rush to Fiverr. And if you've positioned yourself very well, then it becomes easy for these clients to find you. The thing with Fiverr is you just need to know how to put yourself out there and to set up your profile. But the biggest problem that I've realized with most freelancers who open their accounts on Fiverr is that they're usually a bit broad. So somebody goes there and says that I'm a copywriter. And if you say you're a copywriter, you're going to compete, or let me just say you're going to get lost in the noise because everybody else is a copywriter. So what sets you apart? And that's why I always encourage people to be very, very, very specific. So instead of saying I'm a copywriter, I want you to do something like I write conversion focused landing pages for B2B SaaS startups. Notice what I've done there. So instead of saying I'm a copywriter in the B2B space, I have said I write conversion focused landing pages. That part alone shows exactly what it is I offer, which is writing landing pages. And not just that, I have specified the kinds of companies that I'm targeting, which are B2B software as a service. So business to business software as a service startups. Okay, I'm very specific. And when you do this, you are able to attract right clients who are already searching for that expertise. Because you see, when clients go on Fiverr, they don't just search for content writers. they search for travel content writers. They search for niche specific service providers. And that's why the aspect of niche comes in handy. So if you're a content writer, instead of just saying content writer, again, narrow down your focus to one area. So say I'm a travel writer, I'm a beauty writer, okay? And you can even again narrow down even further and say something like, I write beauty content for travel magazine, something like that. And I'm using writing as an example, but this cuts across all niches. So let's say maybe you're working as a virtual assistant. Instead of just saying I'm a virtual assistant or I'm an executive virtual assistant, you can say I help busy CEOs to do ABC. You see what I'm doing there? Okay, go ahead and try that. When it comes to Fiverr, the secret is in narrowing down, not being very broad. Next, we have Upwork. And Upwork is the largest freelancing marketplace in the whole world. And you know what that means? It means that any business that is looking to outsource for work is likely going to turn to Upwork for freelancing services. So if you list your profile and it stands out very well, then you stand a very high chance of landing or closing these businesses. But now the only problem is that because it's the largest freelancing marketplace in the whole world, it's going to be very competitive, and that means it's a bit hard for beginners to stand out. I'm not saying impossible, but a bit hard. So you need to be very strategic in order to help your profile stand out and make you an appealing candidate for most business owners. Like I've said, Upwork is the largest freelancing marketplace, and that means that it becomes very easy for you to land high-paying clients who are usually long-term. Now, here are a few tips to help you stand out on Upwork. Number one, you do not want to chase every job post because, to be honest, not every job post is designed for you. Remember in the first part, I said that you need to be very niche specific. So you see, not all clients are a perfect fit for you. So you only want to pick jobs where you can clearly add measurable value. Okay. Another tip is you want to write your proposal around client's outcome. Okay, not your skill. So what I'm trying to say is you want to make this about the client and not about you. Like, what does the client stand to gain when they bring you in? Now, a good example of that is instead of saying, I'm a content writer with 3 years of experience. You see, that's about you. You want to make it about the client and say something like, I help SAS companies simplify complex topics and rank on Google without keyword stuffing. So there is a very clear, measurable value that you're offering to this client. When you do this, you tell the client that you understand their world, not just your craft. Okay, that is very important. And on Upwork, I have shared a video covering step by step how you can create a profile and how you can pitch for clients. So go ahead and check or find that video in my YouTube and watch it to get started with Upwork. Next, we have social media. And before you act surprised, remember that businesses are on social media. In fact, businesses spend a lot of money on social media platforms. And just to prove this fact is when you scroll through platforms like Facebook, you're going to see businesses advertising their services. You'll see sponsored posts. These are businesses that are trying to reach out to their target audience. And these businesses, behind these businesses, we have CEOs, we have business people who are running these ads, and others, again, who are just spending time on social media like any other human being, right? So as a freelancer, it's very important for you to hang out and to pitch tent where your prospects also pitch tent in. If they hang out on Facebook, you want to hang out on Facebook. If they hang out on LinkedIn, you want to hang out on LinkedIn or Twitter and any other social media platform. So for one, you want to make sure that your profile or your platform is very optimized. Like if you have a Facebook page, let it reflect what you're doing. If you are a social media manager, your Facebook page, LinkedIn page, Twitter page need to reflect that. And again, I'm not saying that you go optimizing all pages. You can just pick one platform that you want to stand out in. Like personally, I prefer using Instagram, but if you love LinkedIn, you can do the same. Okay, so it doesn't have to be all platforms. So that is the first thing. The second thing is you can pitch clients directly. Like for example, in platforms like LinkedIn, LinkedIn has an inbuilt job board that you can go there and find different kinds of jobs. Like all freelancing jobs are available on LinkedIn. So you can go on their job section and find out jobs that align with whatever it is you're offering and make direct applications. But beyond that, if you've decided that you're going to pitch tent on LinkedIn, I also want you to now follow the relevant people. Case in point, if you are working as a virtual assistant, I want you to go and find people who can potentially hire you and make sure that you are following them. So you want to be as close to them as possible so that they can discover you. And how do you do this? Go on LinkedIn, in the search bar, search for the people that you're looking for. Like for example, if you're doing VA, you can search for something like CEOs, travel industries or travel companies in Atlanta, CEO beauty shops in California, something like that. Identify all the CEOs, follow them, interact with their post, comment on their post, okay? And after a while, you can shoot them an email or shoot them a DM and tell them, hey, I'm a virtual assistant who would love to help you with A, B, C. For Facebook, if you're going to pitch clients on Facebook, I would highly encourage you to join Facebook groups. Like Facebook groups are very, very good for landing freelancing clients. And how you go about this, you can just go on the search bar and search for a relevant group. And I'm going to use copywriting as an example. So if you work online as a content writer or as a copywriter, you can go on Facebook and search for copywriting groups or content writing groups. You are going to get dozens, if not hundreds of groups with the same theme, copywriting. So in those groups, you'll find that people always share jobs. If they're looking for a content writer or a copywriter, you can just go ahead and apply for these jobs. Of course, you want to exercise caution because some of these jobs are probably scam, but not all the jobs. Now, besides that, you also want to provide value in these groups. So let's say somebody comes there and they're asking, hey, which tool is the best for checking plagiarism or something like that. You want to go ahead and provide a detailed answer. Like for example, hey, I use Grammarly for that, or I use Copyscape for that. See, the more you provide value, the more people notice you, and the more they notice you, the higher the chances of them approaching you and giving you work. And the beauty of this is that you expose yourself to very many clients, and at the end of the day, you only need 1 or 2 clients, 2 good clients to transform your life completely. The same concept applies for platforms like Quora, Reddit, subreddit, and things like that, because you can join specific threads that deal with hiring writers, and in there you'll find people who are sharing work opportunities or those who are asking questions. So you're going to follow the same criteria to end up landing work. Next on the list on where freelancers get their gigs from, we have Contra and Workello. Now these are also platforms similar to Fiverr and Upwork, but of course they work slightly different. With Contra is ideal if you work in creative or digital fields like writing, marketing, design, branding, but it's a bit less saturated than Fiverr, which makes it good, okay? And it allows you to showcase your work in a clean, modern portfolio that you can share directly with clients. So when you have a Contra account, you do not have to create a separate portfolio, like you do not have to create a website. Yes, you can, but it's not a must. You can always just share your Contra portfolio with clients who are asking for portfolio on different platforms. And by the way, the same thing happens or applies with Upwork. Upwork also allows you to share your profile with your samples and some details about you with other clients. Workello, on the other hand, is great for copywriters, editors, and content marketers. Now, the beauty of Workello is that many startups and agencies use it to source for talent. However, it does not have many clients. But the good thing is, if you happen to land work on Workello, you are sure that you're getting a high quality client, like a client who is going to pay you very well. So it does not have a lot of work, but if you happen to land work there, then like you're sorted. Beyond Contra and Workello and Upwork and Fiverr, we have so many other examples of freelancing marketplaces and job boards that you can explore. Some of these have a lot of work, others not so much, but again, like I've said, just take time to explore them. Now, a couple examples are Indeed, Monster, Simply Hired, Glassdoor. Now, Glassdoor is just a general site that has a job section, I guess, and the same thing applies to AngelList, Craigslist. You can explore those as well. We have Container, Writer's Work, Robert Half, ProBlogger, Season Jobs, Media Bistro, An Army of Writers, Skyward, PES, Freelancing Females, The Mom Project, Copywriter Collective, We Are Rosie, 24/7, 8820, Artisan Talent, Clear Voice. Like, all these are options that you can explore. So go ahead and try them out. But like I've said, at the end of the day, we are only looking for that one client. Just one, okay? Usually when you happen to land one good client, you are sorted. Next on the list is a hill that I'm willing to die on, because this is the method that I have used to land most of the clients that I have. Of course, I've used the methods that I've just mentioned, but this one is the one that has given me most of the clients that I have or that I'm working with at the moment, and that is cold pitching. So cold pitching involves you reaching out to businesses directly. So instead of using these platforms that I've just mentioned, you go ahead and now search for specific companies on Google or even on LinkedIn. I do work online as a content writer, but when I'm looking for companies, I don't just look for companies that are hiring content writers. What happens is I try to narrow down my focus, like I have emphasized throughout the video. So I have specialized as an SEO content writer. So when I'm going to look for companies that I want to reach out to, I'll go on places like Google and search for SEO companies in, let's say, New York, or digital marketing companies in Atlanta. So these are companies that can hire somebody like me. I'm looking for relevant companies that can work with someone like me. So these are digital marketing agencies, SEO agencies, link building companies, social media management companies. All these companies can hire or need somebody who does SEO, and that's why I am looking for those companies. If I were working as a beauty writer, I would look for beauty companies in, let's say, Atlanta. You get the drill. I would look for these companies and search for their emails using free email finders like Get Prospect or Apollo or any mail finder. By the way, a quick Google search will show you a range of options that you can use to find the people's emails. So I would identify the relevant person in that company and find their emails and then shoot them an email that looks like this. So basically just selling my services. And something very important when you're sending these emails is you need to customize it to match the client that you're pitching, okay? Because you do not want your email to sound very generic. You want your email to help make you stand out or to make you an appealing option to the businesses that you're targeting, okay? So I'll make a video specifically on cold pitching in case you're interested to learn more, but for now just know that cold pitching is a good way to land freelancing clients. Last but not least is accounts. And if you followed me for a while, you've noticed that I talk about accounts a couple of times because honestly they make your life so easy. With accounts, as long as you're able to get one and sign in, you're going to get a list of tasks there. So your work will just be to pick the work on it, submit it, and you get paid. And we have several different kinds of accounts, from content writing accounts to transcription accounts to chat moderation accounts and survey. All these accounts, like, they pay so well and they make your life easy. Now the only problem with accounts is it's very hard for you to open it from certain parts of the world. Like, let me say Kenya because I'm a Kenyan. It's usually like impossible for you to open an account when you're in Kenya because most of these accounts are usually IP sensitive or location sensitive, meaning you cannot open it from here. Some people use proxies, again, not that I recommend, but there are people who use proxies, okay? But that's not usually the only problem. Sometimes these accounts ask you for details like social security number. So you see, if you do not have one, then it becomes very hard for you to open. And that's part of the reason why people usually just decide to buy these accounts. I have personally used 2 accounts. I have used a Rev account, which is a transcription account. And I used it back in the day, 2015, 2016, when I was doing transcription. And then 2020 to 2024, I used Verblio. And I think I've shared screenshots of how much the Verblio account used to pay me. So I would make upwards of $150, not $150, but $1,500 in a week. There are good months that I even made up to $2,000, $3,000 in a month. So with these accounts, you can earn a lot, okay? But now the problem is, even if you're lucky enough to buy one, they're not a long-term solution. Like, you can get one, use it for 1 year, use it for 3 months. Unfortunately, it always ends up getting closed. Like with these accounts, the end is the same. they eventually end up getting closed. That is the downside with using these accounts, and that's why I always say that if you want to remain relevant in the freelancing space, if you want this to be your long-term career, then you can just focus on the methods that I have discussed. I know it seems like a lot of work, but trust me, at the end of the day, you only need 1 or 2 clients. Like if one client pays you between $500 and $1,000 and you get 2 clients, you see you are sorted, right? You're literally sorted. So there's no need for you to like stress so much about getting accounts. Accounts are good, but if you cannot get one, just change your mindset and focus, lock in for a month or 2 and land that high paying client. That's that for today. In case you're interested to learn how to create a portfolio or how to create a resume or how to go about doing work as a freelancer, I have videos about that in my platform, so just go ahead and check them out. And also do not forget to like this video, share it so that it can reach many people, and lastly, please make sure that you are subscribing. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.